I got this really cool Darren Aronofsky movie, and you thinking that you look like you're smart and cool. Now you look like an asshole.
Yeah.
You know, this movie is for certain people like me. But
assholes.
Assholes. Yeah, have an asshole festival. Show this shit in a loop. Yeah, mother, metaphors, mother. Anybody want to stick around and hear some more of the spoilers? Some motherfucking spoilers? Well, I warned everybody. Now this is to you guys. I want everybody to go into the movie. If you really want to see it, you think you'll enjoy it, and you don't want to see what's coming up and discover everything that I've been talking about on your own, then please do not stick around. However, if you don't mind, you've been warned, and we can proceed. Now, Martin, you said you didn't understand the biblical stuff that went on in the movie.
Yeah, I didn't see what you saw.
You didn't see it at all. Okay, so here's where all the biblical stuff in the movie is, and this is, and like I said, this is meant to be there. It's not a coincidence. So if you notice, where they live, the movie is almost like, I'll tell you like this: the movie is almost like it's a story of God in the Old Testament, as if God had a wife and she was being pulled into this. Or furthermore, it's a lot of stuff in here that questions religion, and we're supposed to be the Jennifer Lawrence character. We're supposed to either like look at religion as sort of maybe even God as sort of an egotistical person, or we love him and we do anything, no matter how confused we are by the situation, we stick by God. And that's because there's so many parts in the movie where, especially with Michelle Pfeiffer going up and telling Jennifer Lawrence, wow, you love him. You'll do anything he says. You really do love him. But here's where we have the biblical parts that come in. Now, Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem, who are nameless, they even say this is paradise. We live in paradise. All of a sudden, this guy shows up, Ed Harris.
Yeah.
Ed Harris is Adam. That's why when he comes in there and into because Jennifer Lawrence is like, why are you letting him in here? This is paradise. This could not be good. It's Adam entering paradise, being born into paradise. You can even see it. There's a part where he's throwing up and Javier Bardem covers his side,
right,
where you can see he's been cut. That's the rib missing. All of a sudden, Eve is introduced. And if you notice, she wants to go to that room where Javier Bardem has that one prized object.
Sure.
And he tells them, don't touch this, don't even look at it. And then Michelle Pfeiffer wants to go to that room so bad.
Yeah.
And she finally tempts Ed Harris to go in there, and they end up breaking it. And
And all the stuff with the sons was very Cain and Abel.
Cain and Abel.
Because that did come across to me. That like, man, this is very familiar. It's very Cain and Abel-ish. Cain
and Abel. And once that, there's a part where Domhnall Gleeson and his brother's in the movie too, where they're fighting and he kills them.
Right.
And he even like tells Jennifer Lawrence, like, almost like to question God in a way. Like, you don't really get it, do you? You're like, almost like you don't know how God's manipulating all of this. Furthermore, they get cast out after that. You don't see them anymore once all that is ruined. I mean, they have a moment where they come back after the death, and the room is full of all these people because Jennifer Lawrence is like, why are all these people coming into our home? Because they're having a funeral. And he's saying, for just these people need a sense of family. They need to be surrounded by loved ones and people who can take their mind off of this. And when they're in there, people start having sex in different rooms. Mm-hmm. They're tearing up shit. They're not listening. And the only time that they leave, because Jennifer Lawrence says they're not listening, and the only time they leave, she tells these people, get off of this counter that they're jumping on. And it's only when that counter breaks and a pipe breaks open and the place gets flooded that everyone is taken out. You hear what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, and now if you don't see that anymore, well then there's the point where God, who is Javier Bardem in this movie, he can't write. He's trying to figure out how to put something down. And then he finally writes this one poem that we're told, but it's like it's the book. It's the Bible. And the people read this and they come worshiping God. Mm-hmm. And because there's a moment where all these people, they look depressed at first, but it's all these people they're like fans. They're like, you changed my life. I look up to you. I worship you. And all these people come in and at first it's like he can't cast them out, because all these people, they worship me and I make them feel good. But then slowly things start getting out of control. people start losing it. This nice house, this paradise, all of a sudden is being torn apart by all these people. They start killing each other. They start doing these, they start doing cruel things to each other. Mm-hmm. And by this point, Jennifer Lawrence is pregnant, and she's and when she finally gives birth, she says, you know what? I want these people out the house. They're dangerous people. They're crazy. They're going to hurt my baby. And when God says, no, these people don't have a place to go. They need to stay here. And even though she has this baby, and she's being very protective, Javier Bardem finally gets a hold of him, and he shows him to the people. And the baby's sacrificed to these people. That's the part of the movie that's going to get people. They sacrifice this baby. This baby's torn apart. You see meat on a table. Mm-hmm. And at this moment, Javier Bardem is saying, forgive them. They didn't know what they were doing. Forgive them. And you see people eating the baby. They're eating the body of Christ.
Right.
It was God's son. So, all this comes around to, and then, it's supposed to be a point where the world is supposed to like end. There's a point even in here where Jennifer Lawrence mentioned something about apocalypse, but it gets out of hand. Even Jennifer Lawrence dies in the movie. She's burned to a crisp. The world is charred, and then it starts all over again. The world is supposed to be reborn again. And back to this paradise after the world after the revelations happens, I guess. And so, I don't think that any of these things that happen in there were like any exception. They hit note for note. What happens in the Old Testament. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, Revelations is New Testament.
Okay.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So and the moment where I caught it is when Michelle Pfeiffer was not told to go in that room. She breaks that, and then the sons show up, and I said, "That's Cain and Abel." And all of a sudden, and I really saw it after they broke that sink, and I was like, "That's the flood." And so I don't know how people look. I'm not the smartest guy, but I saw this note for note. So I don't. That's why I say when critics say they don't like it because it's too trivializing, or even when critics say they do like it and they didn't see this, I'm like, for one time I see something nobody else sees, and I'm figuring. I thought I thought everybody got this, but apparently not. I'm the only one I saw this stuff, and I don't know why. But that's why I like the movie, because, like I said, it's not a metaphor. It's just Darren Aronofsky's retelling of the Bible and his own unique vision. And I thought what a vision it was, because the movie was directed enough to have this really suspenseful buildup. And I saw that as entertaining too. So, that's why I enjoyed the movie so much.
Okay.
Like I said, it's no different from the Coen brothers doing Oh Brother Where Art Thou, or somebody remaking The Wiz, the black version of it or something. You know what I'm saying?
I disagree with that part, what you're saying, but I get it, and that is intriguing. And yeah, I'm not going to sit here and go like, man, come on. I was like, okay, those are good points.
Yeah,
I saw some in that, but I didn't string it together.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I immediately saw it, and when I saw it laid out, I was like, oh, okay, it was one thing after another, and once those things were shown, I was like, okay, this is all fitting. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That was just me.
So the blood coming from the carpet.
That I told you, there are things I don't know. I don't know the blood coming from the carpet, except that, I guess the furnace, because there's a scene with the blood coming from the carpet, and I guess she goes down to the furnace, and that's supposed to represent hell. Let me see here, because there's a moment where there's the blood on the carpet, and it leads to and it's one of the creepy moments in the movie. They're trying to pitch as a horror movie, but it leads to this portal. And all this stuff happens, and I think that this is supposed to represent the gateway to hell, and and that's that's the thing that destroys ultimately the paradise. Mm-hmm. It ultimately destroys paradise. All the sin takes over.
Right.
Now that thing with her touching the house and that little heartbeat going on inside of her and her drinking that piss, I don't know what that means. I'll tell you that right now. But then again, that is something I would love to hear the theories on, and that's why, again, I like putting those things together afterwards, and it makes me feel more involved in the movie. So I would love to hear people's opinions about that. So yeah, there you go, people. I hope I didn't ruin anything for anybody. And even if you do know that, maybe it will help you enjoy the movie.
I think it would help you enjoy the movie more.
Yeah, you kind of sold me on it.
Yeah, when I was
see now, whereas before I was like, I never want to see this again. Now I was like, okay, I would like to watch it again with this knowledge.
And maybe I should tell that to people, because when I told my wife and her brother last night, and I told them everything because they didn't care. They don't care about spoilers. Apparently, Turkish people don't give a fuck. But they were like, man, I really want to see this. You know, I love this movie. This movie's probably going to be, because I love unique visions, and I love when people dare to try things differently. And movies probably in my top 5 right now. You know, but again, that's me loving somebody who really has an artistic vision as opposed to the same shit we see over and over again.
Yeah.
You know, so I know Darren Aronofsky rubs people the wrong way sometimes with his depression, and even when he goes off into like his artistic pretentious mode. But I really don't think that this is a pretentious art film. It's just not a mainstream film. It is not. So go ahead and get to the number 2 movie, Martin.
Mother!
Yes, Martin, that's right. You say it just like that. Put that spec on it, that exclamation point.
Exclamation point on there for a reason.
Mother! But nobody heard it still.
Oh, man, you spelled that with a capital M. What is wrong?
Oh,
It's the titling. We have to keep to a format, guys.
They specifically told us always use a lowercase m.
They didn't tell me, and I'm not getting those Marvel whatever Lionsgate check, whatever the hell checks.
You know,
are,
it's
right?
people like you that this movie did not achieve as much as it could have at the box office because you didn't respect the
Man,
name.
I did research. Nobody knew what the fuck was going on with this movie, all right?
$7.5 million is what it brought in on a $30 million budget. Plus, I was reading about this, the mainstream audiences, they hated this movie.
Yeah,
they
cinema
gave it
score of F.
F.
Does that ever happen?
No.
It happened 18 times before. This is the 19th film to ever get that rating.
Really? Well, do you know what some close ones were before?
No, it was like something Box or something was the last one to get it from like 2014 or 2012 or something. Yeah, no, it seldom gets that. And when we talk about cinema score, that's where like some shit. What's like a shitty movie that came out like The Mummy. The Mummy will get like a C+ or like a B-.
Oh yeah,
and everyone hates The Mummy. Everyone knows it's a bad movie. So this movie, with such a highly touted director, it's even weirder, to get something that's so low. And we're so disappointed in.
I tell you, all the trailers, everything about it sets it up like a horror movie. I've even heard it described that way even after it's out. Mm-hmm. And it's a big name director, so it really sets expectations high and incorrectly. So somebody walking in goes, "The fuck!" I spent the first half wondering, feeling like something was about to happen, and then the way it goes, it just got stupid.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I wouldn't say it got stupid.
That's not my personal opinion. I'm saying somebody who just walking off the street will come in feeling that way about it.
And you know what? You're right. Now, y'all know I really enjoy this movie. And I would dare say it's one of my favorite movies this year. And I'm not trying to be...
Really?
Yeah, no, seriously. And I'm not trying to be... Again, I hate to use these words, but I'm not trying to be a pretentious art critic. This is a movie where... when I saw it, I knew exactly what was going to happen, so I'm not arguing for the film.
He has pictures of you in his luggage.
What were you doing in their luggage?
Man, it has blood. It's got that psycho music.
Got crazy topography and shit.
Yeah, man. I look, if you go to our review, if you haven't seen it already, the first thing I said was, because a lot of people were mad at me for even defending the movie. And it's one of those things where people can even make up their mind. Where I was trying my best, because this movie is not, for better or for worse, the movie is not what you expect. And I was trying my best not to spoil it. People always tell me, man, y'all spoil too much shit. Don't spoil anything. I tried my best to tiptoe around this. And then somebody came in, man, why don't you just spoil it and quit acting like you own something special? I was like, fuck y'all. Don't know what you want.
What?
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was kind of crazy. Like this movie, this review drove people crazy on YouTube.
Right, and a lot of people actually wrote articles that were saying nobody knew what was going on. Audiences did not know what the hell happened in that third act.
Yeah,
and you know what? All.
And I don't. I'm not saying I'm smarter. I'm not saying that people are idiots. I'm saying for whatever reason I got it, so I didn't think it was. I knew what I was watching after a certain point. I knew where it was going. A lot of people didn't, and I understand that. That's why I said in my review, this movie deserves to bomb. As much as I love it, and I hate to say that against the director who made what I consider a fine film, but Paramount tried to go out there. Their biggest mistake was they were trying to fucking rob people, man. I don't care what you say. They were robbing people by pitching this thing as a horror movie, at best or at worst, a thriller.
Yeah.
And what people got in there, you got an art house movie. This never should have been released to the mainstream.
No.
Unless you got a time machine and can go back to the 70s.
Uh-huh.
Because this would not work. And Paramount, the director doesn't deserve it. The actors don't deserve it. Paramount deserves to take that loss right there. It was. I don't. I don't understand how they thought, besides Jennifer Lawrence being in the movie, how they thought that this would ever succeed.
I know.
at the mainstream theater. All them F's are fuck you. You deserve it. I mean, I love the movie. I do, but this should have been on a smaller budget and I don't know how much this cost. Do you know how much this cost to make?
It said there on the card.
Yeah, it was like 30.
Yeah.
Okay, 30's. You know what? 30 million is not bad. That's probably why they decided to take a chance on it. But it's a chance it didn't pay off. $7.5 million is that's abysmal and understandable.
Jason Blum would have known what to do.
Yeah, he would have made it a horror movie. All this biblical shit, get the fuck out of here. Like, reads the Bible? Come on, man. And apparently not, because people didn't see that shit. So I don't know.
It's interesting, like hearing your explanation of it. It did make me look back at it, and I go like, huh. Okay, it does. It gives it, I guess, a thread to follow. But there's also so many things along the way that derail it. I go like, yeah, I can totally see why I didn't see that, because there was all these other things that kind of contradict that, but it's still there. And it makes me like understand the movie better, though not like it much better.
Yeah, I mean, it's not for everybody. Like, I'm not trying to make it that. I wish the movie a success with another crowd. Maybe a cult following, maybe a new life on video.
Fucking hipster.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I hope the hipsters come out there and pick this shit back up, and at least somebody will give it the attention it deserves.
It'll be that cult film that'll show at midnight at festivals.
Yeah, but don't be an asshole, and you got a friend coming over like Martin, and you're like, hey, dude, you should watch this movie, man. Some people, I'm not even saying that just because you don't get it.
Do that. I want to keep my friends.
Yeah, don't be like bring over a friend. Hey, I got this really cool Darren Aronofsky movie, and you thinking that you look like you're smart and cool. Now you look like an asshole.
Yeah.
This movie is for certain people like me, but
assholes.
Assholes. Yeah, have an asshole festival. Show this shit in a loop. Yeah, mother, metaphors, mother.
Man, I work with a guy, and he would be the guy to show this to, because he only likes the most pretentious of art house films. Like he likes 6-hour Russian films that aren't translated.
Oh,
Fuck
Jesus.
this dude. I was about to say send him my way, but no, hell no. Shit, I wish you would put me and him in a room watching a 6-hour Russian film.
I
He'd
should
be
pair the two of
dead.
y'all up. You guys have a movie night.
You walk in that room, and there'll be blood all over the floor. You holding his limbs in my hand. He had to die, Martin. You don't understand.
Film's only 30 minutes in. I can't take this. Stab.
Bing, ding, ding, ding. Yeah, we're going to leave that, but I just had to comment on that. That was a very fascinating thing to me. This is why Paramount is failing, because Paramount has not had a whole lot of big hits except for some of the reliable ones. I forgot what I was reading. Maybe I'm wrong, but there was an article about them having trouble with some of their releases, except for the ones that were surefire hits.
Fast
even
and
those
Furious.
Fast and Furious
That's
is Universal.
That's right.
Transformers.
Oh,
It's Paramount,
right.
and even those are they're making tons of money, but even those are starting to pull back a little bit. So with Paramount doing this, not a smart move at all. I don't know how this got through. I don't know why it got through. I love it, but it should not be where it is, and it is a well-deserved failure. Sad, well-deserved failure.